Burger King, do you want a Whopper on a donut? You might just be able to get one because that's right, Burger King bought Canadian donut chain Tim Hortons for $11.4 billion. We've got some more info on the deal. With an estimated $23 billion in sales and 18,000 restaurants in 100 countries, the new entity would be the third biggest fast food chain by sales. Berkshire Hathaway chief Warren Buffett will be putting up $3 billion in the deal. He's going to get back preferred stock that will pay him a dividend. And after the deal was made official, Burger King's stock price climbed up about 16% from its closing price on Friday. Tim Hortons jumped about 30%. We've got a little more info for you. And this is where I think it gets really interesting. So in the US, companies pay up to 35% tax rate on both domestic income and overseas sales. Canada levies its federal corporate tax rate of 15% only on sales within its borders, then allows companies to pay only foreign taxes on sales abroad. If you need to pause it for a second and reread that, this is where it kind of gets good. Burger King is still going to pay the same US taxes on its sales here, but will only have to pay Canadian taxes on its Canadian sales, Mexican taxes on its Mexican sales, and so on. Okay, so this is interesting because everyone said this was about taxes and the Burger King people kind of said it wasn't about taxes, but yes, it's about taxes. Their US taxes are going to stay the same and everything else that they do outside of US borders and Canadian borders will be taxed less. So I want to start with Warren Buffett though, because everyone loves this guy, right? Everybody loves Warren Buffett and everyone thinks he's like the god of the markets and all that stuff. Should we be a little annoyed at Mr. Buffett right now for doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's obvious that this is a move to, mitigate tax costs for Burger King, right? I mean, obviously they're going to deny it, but that's like being shocked that they're going to try to like reduce their tax costs is like being shocked that they're not really concerned about the health of Americans. Like it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, right?
I thought the Whopper was a healthy alternative
product, right?
to the Big Mac.
Amazing.
No.
Yeah, so I think it's a crappy move, but.
Warren Buffett, are you pissed at him?
You know what? I am a big fan of Warren Buffett, so I'm not going to lie.
Everyone loves him.
I'm surprised. I am really surprised, and I think it's a terrible move. I mean, they're saying that corporate taxes here are 35%, and in Canada it's 15%. But in actuality, whatever they write off, the corporations, I think I read today that Burger King pays 27% taxes on the U.S. revenues. I could be completely wrong. But this is what makes me angry about, is that you're trying to shirk taxes. Your workers don't make enough money, and they're accepting, a lot of them have RN welfare. Your trucks that are trucking all this food to Canada and to Mexico, even in the United States, are on government roads, and that you're shirking your tax responsibility, yet using all the services. I think that's incredibly short-sighted.
Isn't that the most American thing you can do? Taking advantage of the system, like in a weird way, you know what I mean? We had Mitt Romney, a guy that was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, running for president, and he was hiding money in the Cayman Islands and admitted it, like openly did it. And that was the best guy the Republicans could put up. Like our system is so fucked that like it basically, the worse you screw the system, the more you're rewarded. Right. Isn't that isn't that how we've sort of built this thing at this point?
Yeah, it sucks. I think that people would feel a lot less uncomfortable about this if the company involved in this so-called tax inversion were benign. Like apparently Walgreens attempted to do something recently like that, but then people boycotted it and they changed their mind, right? But Burger King makes people fat and diabetic. It's like one of those companies that like doesn't really add anything positive to the world. In fact, they take away from people's health, and so. That's why I don't feel sorry for them that they're now encircled in this controversy.
That's an interesting idea, though. So maybe if they were a different business, like they're in the business, fast food, we know it's the business of it. It's in the business just, max profits, obviously, and giving us a lot of shitty food. If they maybe were in the business of something with a slightly loftier goal or something, you think people would be angrier? Like, does that go to the business end of it or something like that?
I think people need to make themselves more aware of what companies are actually doing that. I mean, in a way, it's a good thing that Burger King is doing it because it puts more of a spotlight on the whole situation. I mean, if you go on the internet, you can look up several, tens and tens of companies that are doing this, that are in medicine or in Tyco is a company that does that. And, I mean, I definitely think that everyone should boycott Burger King, for sure.
Boycott Burger King. Hashtag boycott Burger King. Felicia
or if people do go to Burger King, then they should pay back. They should give us taxes for eating their food, like a 10% tax.
That is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, isn't this really about our tax system here? I mean, is our corporate tax rate just too high? Like, I mean, if the country that borders us to the north, that's a pretty decent country, Canada, can beat us at this, like, shouldn't this really be not about Burger King, but about the way our government
doesn't provide health care, like, for free for its citizens, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know, I've been boycotting Burger King for 20 years just because I, choose health, but like, it goes back to what you were saying before, like in the spirit of capitalism, is it really that, shocking of a thing that a company would want to like seek out its best interests, financially speaking? But I don't know.
So almost everything we do here at the end of the day comes down to money in politics, because Wall Street bought the politicians that set up the regulations that allow companies to do this. Is that really the answer when it comes down to it? Like, this is just about getting money out of politics? Is that the only way that you can get politicians who will lean on Wall Street, and then once they're leaning on Wall Street will force the companies to do different practices? It's a big one, but answer it with it.
I just think as long as there's a reflection of what people think to the companies and to politicians, that slow change will come. As Walgreens, people boycotted that, they changed their minds. I think people really need to choose for themselves. I feel like Americans sometimes are super lazy about understanding the news. We only go to a news source, on nightly television. If I read the news, I read the Huffington Post, which doesn't always have actual news, but I also read The Guardian UK. You know what I mean? You have to make yourself aware. And I think when people bitch about things like the Burger King tax evasion or inversion thing, that they should vote with their money and not eat at Burger King or not go to Walgreens or not. I really think people should stop talking so much crap about politicians and start doing more personal action. Right.
So basically, we just need a list. You can't eat Chick-fil-A because of the gay chicken thing. You can't eat Burger King because of the taxes. What else? McDonald's pink slime. We're going to get to that in a little bit.
Right.
Give me one more fast. Just make one up. So what? Kentucky Fried Chicken. What are they up to again? Just make it up. I don't know.
Torture chickens. Yeah, they like
I'm sure
slice their necks and they're not fully dead.
I'm sure
by the
they're
time
doing
they're dismantling them.
They're doing horrible things to chickens.